sell her to potential clients. Once I see like this type of shit, I'm like, I think that this one's BS. Anyway, Parham claims that Christina Coram threatened to ship her off to anywhere in the world. Okay. Never to see her family again. By the way, this is Diddy's assistant. In the documents, she claims that Diddy took off her clothes, removed a knife from her face, and then got a bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack and covered her body in a liquid substance. Bro, like, come on, bro. Now we're hearing all these fucking baby oil stories. Diddy says, oh, we could sell her for sex. And then the chick is like, just grab the baby oil. Like, come on, bro. Like, criminals just don't move like this. Like, this just seems so... It seems like you've listened to all the allegations against Diddy and you have a story, or you made up a story that just details and mixes everything into one. Oh, he charged with sex trafficking? Oh, yeah, he told me that he's going to sell me for sex. Oh, they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Oh, he had a fanny pack with the baby oil. He took off her clothes, removed the knife from her face, and got a bottle of liquid from a large fanny pack, covered her body in a liquid substance. She says Diddy, so the alleged victim said Diddy and Christina Coram tried to insert something into her vagina that they referred to as a IUD, but it malfunctioned, and Diddy then picked up a TV remote and violently inserted it into her vagina, using the remote to violently R-word her. Parham claims Diddy told her that her life was in his hands and he could take her and she would never be seen again. Then later he violently R-worded her anally and instructed two men to do the same, which she says they did. She claims another man with Diddy R-worded her vaginally. After the gangbang style R-word, she claims Diddy and her buddies left her limp body inside the home as they went to the backyard to smoke weed and cigarettes. She says when she finally regained her bodily function, she grabbed a knife and an oversized t-shirt and tried to leave, but had to get past Diddy to reach the exit. She says she confronted Diddy, who says was surprised to see her walking because he had given her enough drugs to take out a horse. She claims Diddy told her he hadn't had any ass that tight in a while and offered her money and told her to say everything was consensual. She refused and threatened to go to the cops, with Diddy telling her no one would believe her, and if she told anyone, he would harm her family. She says one of his associates showed her a phone that appeared to be a live streaming video from outside her sister's home. Bro, come on, bro. Yeah, this is like some Joker shit. We already have surveillance outside your sister's home. No one will believe you and we will kill you. Like, come on, bro. In the lawsuit, Parham claims that Diddy's even called his mom in an effort to convince her not to report the R word. Chat, you can see how every figure who's been in the news recently is coming into it. Oh, Diddy calls his mom, who just wrote a letter saying, I know my son may have done some stuff wrong, but he's not a monster. Now we get direct victim, complaint saying, oh, no, he called his mom saying, hey, mom, this girl just got R-worded. Could you just tell her not to report me? Like, what? Okay. And she says Diddy mom yelled at her to not hurt her son and brushed off her claims that Diddy R-worded her. She claims that Diddy told her he'd gotten away with bigger crimes and referred again to Tupac. All of these, you just see allegation that we could pull from. We know the exact source. Ever read a Wikipedia page and then they put the citation and you know where that came from? Like, this right here comes from the Lil Rod stuff. Like, Lil Rod is the one who said that Diddy was walking around saying, man, I got niggas killed out here. And basically said he also admitted to, yo, nigga, I shot niggas in New York City club. You get what I mean? So this is from the Lil Rod lawsuit. The AUSA saying that they found baby oil. The whole fanny pack thing comes from that. The knife from the face, like, we haven't heard Diddy like forcibly supposedly take the box, but we're seeing more allegations of those. Some, actually all of them started, now I wouldn't say started, but All of them are included in Tony Busby's 6 lawsuits that got filed against Diddy. Whatever. All right. Let me see. She says she then chased Diddy with the knife. Wait, what? Diddy told her he got away with bigger crimes, referred to Tupac. She says the Tupac comment pissed off one of the men who was with Diddy, who drew a gun and later fired a shot that sent Diddy running. She says she chased after Diddy with the knife, caught up to him and was about to stab him when he started pleading for his life. She says she had a moment of clarity and ran for the exit, but Diddy chased her down and wielded the blade at him, grazing his... All right, hold on, chat. I know I said I was going to take too long on this, but this is crazy, chat. Like, this is wild. What the fuck? Hold on. You're telling me a shot got fired? Hold on 1 second, chat. I just got to see what the fuck is going on. Give me 1 second. Was this in New York? Give me 1 second. Give me 1 damn second, man. Okay. She filed it in U.S. court. Okay, so I can find her here. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up. Yeah, I wasn't even going to pull this up, but this just seems kind of fucking crazy. All right. Go from here. All right, give me 1 second. It's about to load. This shit just reads like a novel. Like, what the fuck? People firing the shots. People getting chased with a knife. And this is the very first time we ever heard this. What circuit is that? My bad. I'm trying to log into this federal website. I thought this was going to be some simple shit. This shit read like a movie. Okay, I got it. Thank you. All right. Here's a complaint. No, it's not a complaint. Where's the complaint at? Is it this? No. Oh, okay, I got it. All right, here we go. All right. Now, before I get into this, I also want to be very honest and open with you. I think I've been one of the biggest platforms that's covered this whole Diddy thing. And it's not at no cost, right? I personally believe the timing of, remember they're like, oh, I got a case. There's a lawyer in the Diddy case that's representing like 7 clients that the day I criticized saying, yo, these cases kind of sound a little bit like there's mad errors and shit. Homie hits me up, files a lawsuit on me, right? Saying, oh, I represent this. Okay. There's this other lawyer. And I have no contact with her, so I don't want to put myself in the same position again. So it puts me in a pickle, right? Should I do my job, or should I just ignore this? Because, like, we all know these are grabs, right? And I actually want to invite this lady on. I don't know if she hates me or whatever, but there's a woman named Ariel Mitchell. We're gonna get into her in a little bit. She got dropped from her last client. Her last client called her a clout chaser. She's a lawyer. Her client is calling her a clout chaser. That's kind of crazy. I would like to invite her on here. She's done Piers Morgan. She's done several outlets. And I'd rather have a civil conversation about some of these claims and even her position and represent some of these people. And because following these lawsuits, you're supposed to have to do some due diligence, right? Like, you got to confirm when a client comes to tell you, hey, listen, this person, because I could go to you and say, yo, Joe Biden fucked me in the ass, right? And you're like, okay. And I'm like, yo, file the lawsuit. You file a lawsuit, but it's frivolous. I never met Joe Biden, right? It's a responsibility of someone that is a accredited member of the Bar Association to do their due diligence to make sure that what a client's telling you ain't just cap. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Diddy got a lot of money. So are people, like, are you incentivized to really, like, weed out and do your homework on what people are saying about that person? Get what I'm saying? Here's the thing, too. The more salacious it is, the more headlines it makes. When the victim got R-worded with a remote control, they put a knife to her neck. They almost stabbed Diddy. A shot gets fired. Tupac. That's how you make headlines, baby. Right? But is that factual? So I'm pretty sure, and I don't want to slander her at all, or not necessarily slander. I don't even want to criticize, because it wouldn't be necessarily slander if I'm giving my opinion about what I've seen with her. But I do want to, I've seen her do a few other platforms. I'm going to show you some of the interviews she's done. I do want to speak to this woman. Her name is Ariel Mitchell. I would love to have her on Twitch or some type of, Zoom, and we could speak on stream. Because this goddamn lawsuit just seems like craziness. And by the way, it's been on both sides. So, like, I've realized how much the lawyers care about the media. Because, again, I had one lawyer that would represent the victims hit me up, and then whatever. And then I've had Diddy's private investigators hit me up. So this isn't, you're in media, but you get to realize that both sides are kind of playing to have the best outlook on whatever they're claiming happened or didn't happen. Which, my job is just to give y'all the news and entertain y'all. But then you realize that these two sides want to control you, which is very important, right? Because if you're the conduit and you're the media, they want you to, like, I'm pretty sure Diddy's, private investigators want me to get on here and be like, yo, all these hoes is lying. And I'm pretty sure the attorney for these alleged victims want me to get on here and be like, no, Diddy's a monster. Whatever we see is all fucking true, right? And that's the nuanced part of me saying, I think my credibility with y'all is that, have I been biased for maybe one thing or another? Some of y'all think I was biased in the Drake and Kendrick thing. Cool. Y'all know I like Drake music more than Kendrick. But I think most of all, y'all kind of look at me as, yo, he's a logical guy, smart guy. I don't know if you think I'm smart, but like, yo, if he sees 2 + 2, he's going to come up with 4. He's just not going to lie to us and say it's 1, right? Or say it's like 22. He's going to be very logical, and, he has at least some type of base on what regular humans would do, so he could make up at least an opinion to say, that doesn't seem right, or actually, that seems exactly how some shit like that would go down, right? So I have to say that because when I pull this up, and I'm going to tell you where we're going to get to, and I'm telling you, I'm predicting the future. Part of what Diddy is going to do, and this is what Diddy's team of attorneys, right now, UMG team of attorneys are doing this. There's 3 people they're going to wage war on. And it's the 3 attorneys that are just, like, some people would say ambulance chasing, because they have multiple clients suing one guy. So they're going to attack the 3 lawyers, because if you attack the lawyers, the cases look flimsy and then maybe fall apart, right? Because if the representation seem like they've been capping or they've been doing the most, the person who they're representing looks a little bit weak because you're getting represented by whatever. The three people is Tyrone Blackburn. That's the guy who represents Little Rod, Liza Gardner, and a few other people. We'll get to him in a second. Tony Busby, because he's coming with allegedly 120 lawsuits. Like, come on, bro. Like, some of these lawsuits just seem crazy. It was 4 niggas and 2 women. At least the first 6 that was filed. And from what I've heard, Ariel Mitchell is in that list as well. From what I've heard. Now, why only those 3 versus other people? It's a couple of things. And I'm trying to explain to y'all. Tyrone Blackburn is, I don't think he's been doing law for over 10 years. What lawyers usually do, they go to law school, they pass the bar, they work for some firms, they keep getting better jobs as they try to, whatever, and they eventually make something called partner, right? Or sometimes they go on to become part of the DA's office, and then later they create their own firm, right? Or they then do a partner thing, right? These are, by and large, lawyers that are just kind of like, for example, Ariel Mitchell, law office of Ariel Mitchell. Very different than the lawyer for Cassie. Cassie's lawyer, I think, is Wigner. Am I tripping? Cassie Ventura. Cassandra Ventura lawyer. Where is it at? Yeah, it's Wigner. I could just look it up. Wigdor LLP. Now, this is a huge law firm, right? This is a huge law firm, and I'm not here to promote one lawyer or talk down on lawyers versus another. But this law firm is like a huge entity. Now, here's the thing that happens in civil court. You don't think everyone wants to, if they got $30 million for Diddy, no, not for Diddy, for Cassie, allegedly, in a day, you don't think every victim of Diddy wants them? But here's the thing. When you have, when you're that big of a law firm, what you can't get involved in is just filing any lawsuit. Because eventually, the court process is going to start sanctioning you, and they're going to start targeting you because you're just doing shit to get money and you're harassing someone. So what you've noticed is that the most colorful stories are coming from a few lawyers that are kind of just like, they're not working for a big ass firm. They're just kind of in their bedroom typing it up. It's all good. Well, respectfully, I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but if you get what I mean, right? Which means they're taking that risk of possibly, like, for example, we're gonna get to Mr. Tyrone Blackburn, but he's being referred to a grievance committee to be sanctioned because he threw Lucian Grange and UMG in a suit with Diddy, and you're not gonna fuck around with the entire music industry. like you fuck with Diddy, you can't fuck with them. So they, I'm gonna explain that in a second. All right. I only say that because Ariel, I think, is barking up that list. This is her second client that she's targeting Diddy with, right? The first client, and before we read this lawsuit, and Miss Ariel Mitchell, I know you'll probably see this. I am giving you an invitation to come on here. I would love to speak to you. So she actually, by the way, she didn't get kicked off the case. She actually asked to leave, and then the person gave like a statement about her. Actually, Let me see. Okay. Yeah. So the show. Oh shit. Fuck. Give me 1 second. Stay with me on this, chat. Like this is a little bit, y'all know we ghetto lawyers over here. We can't file lawsuits, but I think we have a good reading comprehension and we know how to kind of break stuff down. Okay, we're literate. So this woman, this lawsuit we about to read, she just asked the judge to drop her from that case because once you enter as representation, even if you have an issue with non-payment, you can't just say, I'm done being your lawyer, I'm out. Because everybody is entitled to having a lawyer, you have to ask the judge to relieve you from your duty of representing the client. It's the same thing with like YSL Woody when he was trying to fire his lawyer, but if he didn't have a different representation, like the judge has to approve. Okay, anyway, cool. So this lawyer just left this other case, and what happened is that, or not left, filed documents that the judge could allow her to not be the person's lawyer no more. Her reasons was that, I'm telling her things to do, and like we're not working good together, right? Just basically saying that she has unreasonable requests. She wants me to do this, which is against what I think should be done. And her client fired back. In a statement to USA Today on Saturday, Adria English discussed her former attorney, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, and Stephen A. Metcalf, right? Which, by the way, okay, this is a different one up here. Okay, cool. Request to withdraw as her legal counsel in a court filing, claiming that Mitchell Kidd is trying to paint me as non-credible. I am happy with my decision to withdraw, English said. Adding to her ex-attorney's withdrawal from the case, it made it easier for her to secure a new professional. Okay, never mind. I'm happy with the decision to withdraw. So that's what the client is saying. So I'm happy with the decision that my lawyer, Ariel Mitchell, wants to leave. Basically saying it's going to make it easier for me to secure professional, non-clout-chasing counsel. This is crazy. You have the victims calling the lawyers clout chaser? This is crazy. She added that she has until blah, blah, blah. Okay. So essentially, the last client said that this lawyer was clout chasing. Ironic and interesting. Cool. Now, this is a lawsuit that we just like read summarized through TMZ, but we have the full thing here. Okay, let's get to some of the. Let's get to this crazy story. Like, this story is, wow, they have 15 causes of action. Actually, 16. Jesus Christ. 17. All right. All right. Let me get to the. This should be a narrative. Okay. All right, that's the first. Okay, here we go. Good. Perfect. Here we go. This is supposed to be what's called the factual allegations portion. Okay. Jesus Christ, this is a lot. So apparently Diddy is the only person named. Or actually, Shane. There's somebody's named Shane too. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So we were at the part where they're in the backyard with the gunshot going off. Oh my God. Look at this chat. When the defendant finished R-wording, the plaintiff, KK entered the room to examine the condition of the plaintiff, who was barely able to move or control her bodily function. Defendant KK examined the plaintiff to see if, see if she needed assistance, and was about to give the plaintiff an IV fluid. See, that's the only part about these allegations. We know Diddy uses IV fluids, but it just seems it seems too scripted, right? Like, all right, grab the IV, grab the baby oil, grab the IV. Like, come on, right? Plaintiff cannot be certain. See, we have a typo here. Cannot be certain if she did or did not receive such intravenous intervention. Defendant KK opened a different bag different than the one that defendant Diddy removed the oil from. Where the plaintiff, see, it said oil. Did they say baby oil? Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Removed a bottle of liquid. Defendant squirted a bottle of liquid, which placed her, blah, 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 blah. It was being like she was this chemical substance like an acid. She realized that it was a oil, a lubricant, and this was squirted all over her naked body. Then they tried to insert what was a syringe that looked like it was from a sterile package into her vagina. Diddy, upset by this, took the syringe and tried to put it, in her vagina himself. It was an IUD. He then used a television remote. She started crying. He told another guy to put her on her stomach. And then he fucked her. And then another guy fucked her and Diddy fucked her. Okay. Instead of immediately they doused her with some more oil and lubricant and jumped on top of her, treating it like a slip and slide. Oh my God. They said instead of immediately R-wording her, they put more lube on her or baby oil, jumped on her, and used her as a slip and slide. Like, what the fuck? Knocking the wind out of the plaintiff due to his enormous size. He then caught himself from sliding over the oil body off the bed. Then he began R-wording the plaintiff vaginally. While Doe One was R-wording her, Diddy sat in a chair near the bed and began masturbating while recording. See, it's like again, we know that this MO, Diddy did some or allegedly did some of this stuff, but they have everything in there, the baby oil, the recording, he's masturbating over there. He has, who know if these defendants are sex workers. It sounds like they're just trying to repeat what Cassie said, but add on to it with some of the other stuff. Because Diddy never, did Cassie ever mention baby oil or lubricant like that? No, right? But it's now in the news because of the search. So you throw that in there. Then you throw, all these other things. Okay, cool. Another party's phone fell on the bed near the plaintiff. The plaintiff attempted to grab the phone, but it slipped out of her hands and onto the floor due to the oil and lubricant that had been doused all over her person by defendants Diddy and Doe One. Throughout this violent gangbang style R-word, Diddy made constant belittling remarks to the plaintiff, including that he owned her now. Her body was becoming more and more limp over the course of the violent R-word till she eventually had no control of her body or could move her body. When they were finished R-wording her, KK into the room, examined her, was about to give her an IV. The plaintiff was certain that she did not receive, so she didn't get the IV. She then opened a different bag, different than the one that Diddy removed the baby oil from, where the plaintiff observed several medicine bottles, IV bag fluids, and other unidentified powder-like drugs. Defendant KK removed a pill from one of the medicine bottles and gave it to defendant Diddy. Diddy inserted the pill into the plaintiff's mouth and down her throat to where the plaintiff had no choice but to ingest the unknown pill. Diddy, these other people, then exited the residence to the backyard where they smoked marijuana and cigarettes. The plaintiff remained in almost lifeless state in defendant Shane's bedroom until she finally, so cool. He grabbed a knife, went to the backyard, concealed the knife. Upon exiting the plaintiff was met by Doe, who was standing by that time. And then Diddy was still smoking. They didn't see the knife, whatever. They sat down on a makeshift seat in the backyard when Diddy noticed her presence and remarked that he was surprised she was able to walk because he had given her enough drugs to take out a horse. By the way, chat, we heard rumors of ketamine. So this is what I'm saying. The lawsuit is it's playing off every little rumor, right? Ketamine, what is it used for? I think it's used for horses. It's like a horse tranquilizer, right? Horse, right? Is ketamine a horse tranquilizer? Right? Yeah, apparently people have said it's used for horses. And of course, Diddy says, hey, I gave you enough to take out a horse, essentially hinting that he gave her ketamine, right? He asked Diddy what he had given her, and he laughed and did not provide a response. He made more further comments to her in a jovial, friendly manner, asking why they ain't partied together because it was so much fun. See, this is from like the Fab interview, right? Yo, why we ain't party together, huh? Like, bro, this is reading like every rumor we've ever seen, and that I don't know how it makes y'all think, but it's like every line I'm like, oh, that's from the Fab interview with Drink Champs. Yo, bro, why we ain't party? Why we ain't party, Fab? Right? It's from here. Right?
I got Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I love this drink.
Where you put my bag
I like
at?
when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, where you put my bag
Daddy,
at,
I like
Mr.
when
Lee?
you
Oh,
when
it's
you
right here, it's
scrambling
right
and
here.
scraping for
No,
shit.
I got
I
loads
like
of
that.
shit. You know, I'll be practicing. I got
Yeah.
loads. Yeah, Mr. Lee.
Yeah, I love this drink.
Where you put my bag
I like
at?
when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, where you put my bag
Daddy,
at,
I like
Mr.
when
Lee?
you
Oh,
when you
it's right here,
scrambling
it's
and
right
scraping when
here.
you
Oh,
when you
it's right here, it's
scrambling
right
and
here.
scraping for shit.
No. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna go with that one.
Make a
That
wish.
one.
Just blow it out. It's your birthday every day.
Every day's your birthday on Drink
Okay.
Champs. goddammit. I'm in.
Where I look
Did you
back
miss
on
me?
where I became.
Did you miss me though? For real? Because I'm
I
saying
miss-
it seems like a thing
I
with
miss
this
partying
birthday
with
party.
Puff, man. I
Man,
miss
but I'm
partying
talking about
with
for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party, you know what I'm saying? Eyes. Eyes, brother.
Oh, man.
Eyes. I understand. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so check this out. It's me, Tyrese, personality. So Tyrese kept on talking, bringing God into this.
Okay, all right. So he asked her why they ain't party together before, because it was so much fun, and he ain't had any ass that tight in a while. One of the other defendants quipped at Diddy, saying that he probably ain't had that ass tight in a while because he's not used to having anal sex with women. Insinuating that Diddy fucks men, and the men he's fucking are homosexual, whose asshole is a pussy. So like, those assholes ain't as tight as a woman who probably doesn't have anal sex. Oh my God. Plaintiff tells Diddy she didn't party with him and she did not enjoy partying with him, and that he R-worded her. Diddy did not like what the plaintiff said. And his response to what? Oh, he didn't like her response to his lighthearted comment and offered her money and instructed her to say that the R word was consensual and that the plaintiff was a sex worker. Huh? She became enraged and yelled at him that the R word was not consensual. She was not a sex worker, and she refused to take any money from him and would tell the police that he had R-worded her. Diddy then told the plaintiff no one would believe that she had been R-worded by him, and if she'd tell anyone as such, they would harm her family. Another defendant then showed the plaintiff his phone. Yo, check this out. And it showed the outside of the plaintiff's estranged sister's residence. And he could see her sister sitting on the couch and her sister's spouse on the balcony. It looked as if someone outside the residence was streaming this video to his phone. That's some movie shit, bro. Plaintiff was then rattled by what they saw, was angry about the gang R word, and was not complying with Diddy's request to take money being offered to say the R word was consensual. Defendant Diddy then called his mother in an effort to further convince plaintiff not to report assault. Defendant Diddy's mom yelled at the plaintiff to not hurt her. Okay, we got that already. Diddy then made further threats that he had gotten off bigger crimes, then referred to Tupac, further antagonizing the plaintiff. Another defendant turned to Diddy and pulled his gun and said to repeat what he said about Pac. As the two men were exchanging words, plaintiff went behind the defendant where he seemingly began protecting the plaintiff. What? Oh. Then the defendant then advanced to Diddy, questioning him over the comments about Pac. During this commotion, a neighbor directly across the street came outside, peered into the backyard, asked what all the commotion was about. Defendant Doe 1 then pointed a gun at the neighbor and instructed him to mind his business and return to his residence. There got to be some type of police report from this, right? What? You're pointing guns at people, all type of shit, what? And then allegedly a gunshot goes off later. Defendant Doe 1 then turned the gun back on Diddy, not far behind Defendant Doe 1, tried to grab Diddy's hand that the plaintiff, not far. So the plaintiff tried to grab his hand, not the one that had the gun, and the gun went off, and it hit a hill behind the defendant's residence. The defendant, Diddy, ran back up the stairs near the hill towards where KK, Shane, and Jane Doe were, and the plaintiff charged towards Diddy, moving a concealed knife from her left hand to her right in pursuit of Diddy. Plaintiff pushed Diddy from behind while he was on the stone stairs outside, caused him to fall with his back to the plaintiff. Plaintiff raised the knife, and in a rage from the events that just transpired with intent of driving the knife in Diddy's back, when he turned around, no, please don't do it, don't please. Diddy started begging for his life. No, this is like a movie. Plaintiff shocked to see how, you know this is a movie, because only in the movie, yo chat, this only happens in movies. You know when you finally catch the person, like only the bad guys give the good guys a whole 20-minute speech before they pull the trigger. Like they finally got him. I just want to let you know why I'm going to kill you. Remember one, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And they talk to you for like 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden, the person just like, do some shit and kill them. I'm like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. I'm like, he gave you a 5-minute speech, 5 minutes to think how to get out of this fucking situation, and you just, and killed them, right? Chat, that only happens in movies, gang. Like, nobody's like, she says, you just got R-word, and you got the knife there, and all of a sudden, you're like, listen to him. Oh, no. Okay, whatever. Shocked to see Diddy acting like a victim, had a moment of clarity and turned and ran down the steps into the backyard to escape. Diddy then chased the plaintiff down the stairs, attempted to push her, but she was already at the bottom of the stairs and gained her footing and wielded the knife at Diddy, grazing his abdomen. So supposedly she's saying she cut Diddy. Hearing the commotion, KK and Jane Doe emerged, and KK then began to administer first aid to Diddy for the injuries caused by the plaintiff. Plaintiff then tried to make a quick dash for the exit, but was thwarted by Doe 1. After a period of time, plaintiff was able to abscond from defendant Doe 1 due to first aid commotion with Diddy, and was able to run down the street. Once they made it to the street, she began yelling loudly for someone to call the police. Doe 1, who had called up with the plaintiff, advised the plaintiff he was an undercover cop. Oh my God, even better story. To this day, the plaintiff is unsure if the truth or the falsity of that statement. The same neighbor then again emerged from his residence asking what was transpiring. Just as the plaintiff was attempting to answer, gunshots being fired in the plaintiff's direction. Plaintiff fled to a car where the neighbor was also taking cover, lost sight of Doe 1. Plaintiff heard an SUV screeching, speeding, leaving the residence. Plaintiff then entered the home of the neighbor, who informed her he had already called the police. Plaintiff informed the neighbor that it was Sean Combs who R-worded and shot at them, but the neighbor who was unaware who Diddy was. Okay, cool. So they called the cops. All right, that's good. Shortly after, sheriff from the Contra Costa, what's that? All right, I won't even Google it. Contra Costa Sheriff Department arrived at the neighbor's home. Plaintiff told the sheriff that she had been violently gang R-worded by Diddy and others, and she didn't have her clothes, purse, phone, car keys, and cell phone. The sheriff told the plaintiff and the neighbor that they received several noise complaints prior to the neighbor's call and instructed the plaintiff to find a way to get home. What? There was gunshots fired. You don't have nothing, like, I guess she's like barely clothed, and you tell the cops that you got R-worded, and the cop says, "Oh, I'll find a way to get home." What? Okay. The sheriff did not offer to take the plaintiff home, nor did he call emergency service. Nor did he offer to take the plaintiff to a hospital or offer to help the plaintiff to recover her clothes or effects from the defendant's changed residence. Okay, he got to have taken a statement. By the way, this is so crazy. You're telling me, I don't care. By the way, this was from 2018, supposedly, right? This is 2018. So you're telling me in 2018, that was the height. 2018 is the height of the first Me Too wave in music. And you're telling me police, which even if the neighbor didn't know Diddy, police know Diddy. Police, you are unclothed, gunshots are being fired, tires screeching, all type of shit. You're at a neighbor's house. They got mad calls about some commotion going on, and you tell the cops, I got R-worded by Diddy, and they said, find a way to get home. I guess. The neighbor offered to let the plaintiff sleep on his couch. The neighbor doesn't take the plaintiff immediately to the hospital himself. He tells you to sleep off the R word? Is it only me? Chat, is it only me? I'm trying to use some comments, but is it only me thinking, huh? Let me go look in the chat, man. I might be tweaking, chat. I must be tweaking. Go sleep it off. You can sleep on my couch. That's another thing. Well, we don't know if the plaintiff's a man or a woman. Like, if somebody came to my house and they said they just got all worried about somebody else, hell no, you're not staying at my house. Because I don't know if you hide something. I don't want you to wake up and say I was involved too. You got to go. You're going to the hospital. I'll be the good guy, drive your ass to the hospital, but you go to the hospital now. The neighbor offered to let and until she could figure out a way to get her possessions and get home. But the plaintiff declined and only remained at the neighbor's residence for a short period of time once the sheriff left. So the sheriff just left after you said you got R-worded and there was a gunshot fired, and there's like so many different felonies here. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, maybe possibly an attempted murder charge. A 3-count first-degree R-word charge? What the hell? Plaintiff went back to the defendant's Shane's residence. Oh, she goes back there. Okay. Go back. Okay. Where she found the door open. She just went back in. It's like watching Saw chat, and you finally get out of the Saw thing, and you're like, oh, fuck. Forgot my lucky pair of shoes. And you see that you could get back into the room, and you go, okay, I don't know. Defendant Shane emerged as if nothing had happened and offered for the plaintiff to stay at his residence while she slept it off. Plaintiff asked for her purse and keys, but Shane told her she couldn't leave in her condition. And plaintiff, catatonic and in the state of shock, disbelief of what happened, she wouldn't stay at the neighbor's house, who she supposedly ran for help because she was getting R-worded by the 3 men over there. But she went back to the house with the 3 men and stayed there. Later that morning, Shane returned to the residence, woke her up, gave her back her purse, keys, cell phone. Plaintiff left the residence. In a daze, plaintiff returned home, tried to make sense of what happened to her. On March 26, I don't know how many days that is, she contacted her primary care, asked for HIV and STD testing in fear she may have contracted a disease from the violent R word. She continued her life and she felt she wouldn't be believed. And she already had told she continued her life as she felt she wouldn't have been believed, as she told the sheriff that Diddy R-worded her to no avail. Further, the plaintiff was under the impression if she did continue to say Diddy's name in relation to her assault, she would not be believed and her family would be in danger. Seemingly mere days, maybe a day after the plaintiff's vicious R-word, defendant Shayna miraculously began driving a new car. She believes this was payment by Diddy for setting up the plaintiff to get R-worded. A few weeks later in April, she was still in pain and reeling from the horrific assault, went to the hospital as her injuries had not subsided from the assault. Hospital conducted several tests, including the R-word kit, ultrasounds, and x-ray. Additionally, she was given an IV fluid to stabilize her vitals as she was in a severe blah, blah, blah. While at the hospital, a plaintiff told members of her treatment team about her horrific assault. Then they contacted the Walnut Creek police. They showed up to the hospital room, took a statement. Okay, so this is... Yeah, so she went weeks later. Plaintiff declined to refer to the defendant. Wait, what? Plaintiff already told Contra Costa sheriffs about her R-word and that it was defendant Diddy who orchestrated it on March 23rd, which was ignored. So the plaintiff declined to refer to Diddy again to the police because she believed she would be ignored, as she was just by those last cops, and or would be further harmed by Diddy, as if he discovered she named it to the police. She told Walnut Creek police about the assault, but left out Diddy's names. Huh? Plaintiff believed her statements made to the police while at the hospital was captured by police body cam footage. Okay, but she never mentions Diddy. Okay. She believes that her statements made to immediately after the vicious assault where the plaintiff named Diddy directly and by name. Okay, so she's saying that hopefully body cam from that sheriff, the sheriff that came through on the March 23rd could have her naming Diddy. Okay. She filed a report to another police department on the 17th of 28, but was also too afraid to name Diddy. During this report, she provided her clothing to the police from that night, but they only retained her underwear. To that date, the underwear was never returned, and the plaintiff believed no investigation ever commenced. Plaintiff sought assistance from therapists from blah, blah, to have her therapy appointments covered by Victim Compensation Fund, which was rejected because the plaintiff was told no law enforcement agency had an open, active investigation into any of her many reports of her violent gang R-word. Subsequently thereafter, plaintiff asked for police with a copy of her report, and the plaintiff was provided a letter from the police department stated that it was unable to furnish this information as it is confidential and not subject to public release. Wait, what the fuck? She couldn't get a copy from her own police report? Okay, well that we're gonna have to find out. Maybe Diddy is that powerful to be like, yo, they filed a police report, they can't get access. Okay, that's crazy. Despite plaintiff not being public and the victim, despite plaintiff not being the public and the victim, well, I don't know what that means. In March 2024, she was re-traumatized by all the events of Diddy getting sued. They called the sheriff's department again in hopes of renewing her previous complaint, amending it to ensure Diddy's name was included. They received no response from the sheriff. In July, they emailed the chief of staff office regarding her complaint, lack of investigation, how she was treated by the initial officer. She later received a call back from a detective, but nothing further. Plaintiff began seeking legal counsel for her claims, ultimately referred to an undersigned for representation. They also tried to get a copy of the 2018 police report, but was told that they could not provide the report or any other information without a subpoena. Huh. That's interesting. Shit reads like a movie, though. I'm not gonna lie. Is she lying? I think we're all smart here, but these are allegations. I don't understand why the allegations read so rich in the theatrics. It just seems like a play. It seems like a movie. But who knows? A lot of crazier things has happened, right? Now, give me 1 second. Now, give me 1 second. Now, in an update on the Lil Rod case, UMG actually sanctioned or filed a motion to sanction attorney for Lil Rod, Tyrone Blackburn, basically saying this guy's abusing the legal process by not doing enough research, including defendants that should not be included, and just have blatant, factually incorrect evidence in there. And it's not a oversight. It's more of a deliberate way of trying to, gain attention by just throwing people's name in there, even incorrectly. So there was an oral argument, like the judge is about to rule on this soon, but there was an oral argument on it. It says, at a sanctions hearing this morning, Tyrone Blackburn, the New York City attorney behind a recent swath of lurid triggering warden labeled lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs, told UMG Motown not to spike the football too soon, with superseding in Rico indictments expected to drop soon. We also get some information as well. Here's the thing. It says, Blackburn repeatedly mentioned that he had turned over photos and other evidence to the U.S. Attorney Office and that he was about to meet with New York federal prosecutors for a 10th time. Okay, so it's clear. Well, obviously, he's saying all this under the threat of perjury. So, you're hoping he's telling the truth. Apparently, the feds are talking to Lil Rod's attorney, trying to add Lil Rod as a victim. And apparently, they've talked to this guy 10 times. They're about to meet with federal New York federal prosecutors for the 10th time, saying that his client had already drawn out his Mr. Combs' room and showed investigators where to go. Wow, that's kind of interesting. So that's some update, So we definitely see that that lawyer, or actually the feds, are trying to actively get. Are trying to actively get more people on that list. Anyway, if you're wondering, I'll give me 1 second. Okay, I think this is it. Okay.
Tables and music.
All right, not going to play the whole thing. I'll play a little bit of this. It's going to kind of explain a little bit of what I've said before, but give you a little bit more context, and then we'll just kind of move on. All right. This Diddy stuff is gonna turn into some crazy shit. Essentially, these law firms, and I think that's what Tony Busby. I think he has to be doing some type of due diligence. Probably got a couple of investigators trying to make sure that they're verifying these things. Was there a party that happened in the Hamptons? And I don't know, happened in the Hamptons around 2014. Was it a white party? Was this person there? Was that like they got to do so? It can't be just make up a story, right? Because the lawyers get in trouble, and now they're targeting the lawyers. I told you that before.
Is that he improperly files cases in federal dramatic flair to his filings, but Mr. Blackburn has also come into the spotlight a bit for other reasons. You see, not only has he been criticized by opposing counsel, which we're going to get into, but a federal judge referred him to the grievance committee in New York. United States District Court judge for the Southern District of New York, Denise Coate, submitted a referral to the New York Federal Court Grievance Committee claiming that there were issues with Blackburn in 5 cases. She wrote in one of these filings, quote, "A reasonable inference from Blackburn's pattern of behavior is that he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrass defendants with salacious allegations, and pressure defendants to settle quickly. Well, with all of that, now Tyrone Blackburn is fighting back. Not necessarily with the judge. He claims he already issued a response regarding that issue. But what we're talking about now is more specifically with respect to Sean Combs, because he is fighting back against the defendants in one of these lawsuits from filing sanctions against him. Let me explain. So Tyrone Blackburn represents Rodney Little Rod Jones, who sued Combs, Combs-affiliated companies,
I'm gonna speed this up a little
and
bit.
others, including actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Jones alleges sexual assault, harassment, sex trafficking. As part of the lawsuit, Jones was suing Motown Records, Universal Music Group, UMG, and Lucian Grange, the CEO of UMG. Collectively, they're known as the UMG defendants. We're going to be saying that a lot. Now, interestingly, these defendants, or the attorney who represents these defendants, in a filing wrote, quote, plaintiff had also named Universal Music Group as a defendant, but there is no such juridical entity. Universal Music Group is an umbrella name commonly used to refer to all of the various companies and record labels that are encompassed within UMG Recordings, Inc. I therefore assume that plaintiff has misnamed Universal Music Group, intending to actually name UMG Recordings, Inc., and I will refer to Universal Music Group herein as UMG Recordings, Inc. Okay, so would not be great if you get the name wrong of one of the defendants, but putting that aside, with that, Jones alleges that all of these entities are liable for the abuse that he suffered at the hands of Sean Combs. The idea is that all of these defendants are part of this illegal criminal enterprise in violation of Rico, or racketeering law, making money by forcing and threatening people like Jones to transport drugs and guns, solicit minors and sex workers, and make music without properly paying individuals like Jones. That these UMG defendants and other affiliated companies should have been monitored.
Okay, I'll skip a little bit. They basically get in trouble for just naming Lucian Grange, you know what I mean?
And that's the issue. Based upon new filings from Mr. Blackburn, it seems that there was an agreement here between him and opposing counsel to drop the...
So the lawyer is claiming that UMG lawyers snaked him, right? And they agree that, if you take out Lucian Grange, UMG, we're not going to do a motion for sanctions. Except he agreed and dropped them, and they still did it. So he's claiming they snaked him, and they're claiming that he's just kind of like shoddily filing these like frivolous, not necessarily lawsuits, but like he's including people and overlooking facts. Anyway.
Agreements. We even secured the services of a handwriting expert who confirmed our suspicions that Combs did not sign the agreement with Motown. As a result, Plaintiff Jones felt that Motown and the UMG defendants were more than likely victims of fraud perpetrated by Combs, and it would be impossible to hold them equally liable for the harm Combs. The jury would find these defendants sympathetic and is asking for sanctions pursuant to Rule 11 under the federal rules, which basically says you can't file a pleading or a motion or a paper for an improper purpose. You need to have some basis in support for what you're alleging, basis in law and fact. You can't file frivolous claims or arguments. And that makes sense, right? You can't use the legal system as an unfair weapon. So Zakarin is claiming that Mr. Blackburn made a lot of wild accusations in Jones' lawsuits that weren't necessarily supported by facts or evidence. And this complaint was filed purely to harass and defame the defendants and to garner media attention for Jones. And this motion that was asking for sanctions against Blackburn and Jones included a sworn declaration from Zakarin and one of the unnecessary legal fees and expenses that this action has now cost them. And one of the
Okay, so there's something called, in federal court, it's Rule 11, and it's Rule 11. It's basically a motion to sanction, which again, if you're just using the legal process to harass people, the judge could then say, you have to pay a penalty for basically not doing your due diligence, omitting facts, not doing things in bad faith. And a sanction could be you have to pay the legal fees, like 100% of the legal fees for the defendants. Now, UMG has big lawyers. They've spent, and it says it spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Even just doing this. And essentially, if this lawyer is found to have, violated that, they're going to be on the hook to pay UMG hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? Also, that's just generally not a good look for his other clients, who people are going to point out, yo, a judge scolded you before, saying that you're just filing lawsuits improperly. And then also, if he's found to have to pay some type of, amount to UMG, like, this is going to look bad, right? Again, generally, you don't go at record labels. Like, you can't win, right? This is one of the things that they're saying that was just factually incorrect. And that's why they're saying that this guy's just making it up. And whether it's Lil Rod making it up, the lawyer should do some due diligence to try to corroborate or to check out if a story from a client is making sense or is actually true before you file it on their behalf.
Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami in the evenings, and both would disappear for hours in Mr. Combs' bedrooms. Aside from the absurd oddity of the identical alleged behavior by two individuals separately on apparently separate occasions, the entire story about their attendance at any events at Mr. Combs' homes or any listening parties is completely fabricated. Sir Lucian Grange has never been to Mr. Combs' homes in LA or Miami and never attended or sponsored any listening parties at any of Mr. Combs' homes and was not present at any writers' camps. Thus, everything alleged about both Sir Lucian Grange's supposed knowledge of illicit and illegal activities engaged in by Mr. Combs and others are categorically false. And there are hundreds and hundreds of pages in these memo filings, but it kind of gives you an idea of the accusations. Again,
Okay.
Lucian Grange provided a similar sworn statement, and right off the bat, he pointed out something very important. As the second amended complaint admits, I am a resident of California, not New York. As I will detail below, I engaged in no activity in New York whatsoever with respect to this matter. So that would essentially mean that there's a jurisdiction issue. He shouldn't be a part of a New York lawsuit. And he also says that, quote, none of these allegations are supported by a single fact. Okay, so now you know what the sanctions are all about. We now have to talk about Monday. Because on Monday, Mr. Blackburn...
Okay, so he fired back, and they just started talking. This is how lawyers like to talk spicy to each other. I'll play this, and then we're going to kind of move off.
That Zakarin did this because in an email to Blackburn, Zakarin wrote, "You seem to believe that having filed 3 separate complaints over the past 2 months, each of which is filled with offensively false accusations of criminal conduct that you either knew were completely false or as to which you were completely indifferent to whether they were true or false, you can skate away unscathed by your conduct simply by proposing terms on which you would dismiss the current version of the complaint with prejudice."
So to think about how much lawsuits are costing UMG to defend, and this is why they're going hard on this lawyer, because they're like, yo, they don't have any stake to defend Diddy. Diddy doesn't have a deal currently with UMG, but they're putting in all these companies that are going to be a part of this whole thing, and they got to try to make an example out of this guy, or is going to encourage other people. Like, for example, let's say a rapper dies, you're going to try to sue UMG. Like they got to make an example out of somebody. And it appears that they're looking at this guy like, yo, we spent a couple $100,000 already on defending this shit. Bro, we're going to try to make an example out of you that you don't keep doing this.
You appear indifferent to the harm you and your client have caused to completely innocent people and companies. But Blackburn goes back to say, we agreed to dismiss the claim so you wouldn't try to sanction us. And Blackburn states, look, I honestly should have known better than to believe that Zakarin would act with integrity. Blackburn then goes on to defend himself, saying he didn't act in bad faith when he filed this lawsuit against the UMG defendants, that this lawsuit was instituted because the UMG defendants knowingly conducted business with Combs, whom they knew or should have known was a violent, deceptive, morally flawed individual. He says this lawsuit was not instituted for some improper purpose, but rather for the very legitimate purpose of recovering damages for the UMG defendants' reckless, self-serving decision to enter a partnership with Combs to develop Love Records. He says that what he was doing was based on a reasonable investigation. He claims he spoke with witnesses, that Mr. Jones had corroborating evidence like text messages, video recordings, and it really should be no surprise that these defendants were added to this lawsuit given what Blackburn says is Combs' notorious history, that he's facing 8 lawsuits accusing him of rape and sex trafficking.
Okay. All right, you guys get the gist. So, we're going to see how they rule about this. However, it's very interesting that we do hear that allegedly the feds have met with Lil Rod's lawyers. So, that's going to be one thing to kind of tell if he's telling the truth about some of these things in a superseding indictment, we should see the feds included, right? They've met with his lawyer 10 times. Apparently he's drawn out his room. He's told them where to go to find God knows what. So we will see. We will absolutely see. All right. What was the next thing I was trying to get into? Holy crap. I just like lost my train of thought. Oh. Give me 1 second. I know what it is. Let me pull it up. So, wait, what the fuck?
More shocking revelations are emerging about disgraced music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, this time involving allegations.
Another lawsuit? Bro, it's like as soon as I refresh another lawsuit, hold on.
He learned the following year that he was.
Apparently, they're now filing lawsuits that's including the. Remember when Diddy hit the UCLA coach with a kettlebell for not starting his son? Those things are coming up. Yo, it's open season on filing lawsuits on Diddy. It seems, right?
Bystanders. There was a bribery. Charges were reduced. He was ordered to attend an anger management class, and of course, we can't discuss Sean Combs' past history of violence without bringing up the current dangerous hot water he is in for racketeering, sex trafficking charges, these federal charges he's facing, and a man who worked at Macy's in New York City. These suits were filed on behalf of 2 women and 4 men. They're part of 100. Combs quickly settled that lawsuit a day after. Mauricio, so good to see you. Thanks for coming back here on Sidebar.
Good seeing you. Thanks for having me.
Got a lot to unpack here. I think the first place to start with is with this 2015 football incident. What do you make of it, and what do you make of it coming out now?
I think what it is it's the government continuing to portray him as someone that's willing to do anything for his son. I'm hearing now allegations of yacht parties that he threw for his son, that he may have drugged women for them to be able to have sex with his son or to make them better guests for these.
All right, where did he that, bro? Jesus Christ. Anyway, real quick, yo. Unfortunately, we have to. I literally feel, yo. I sat and watched like yesterday about like 6 hours of like just legal random stuff to make me understand some of the stuff I'm reading, that I could try to break it down for y'all in a way that makes sense, because sometimes legal terms and the legal process is very, very like just convoluted, right? Like even this whole is he gonna get bail thing, right? Essentially, he's at his last chance of getting bail, which is kind of like, well, not necessarily his last chance of getting bail, because he could always keep bringing it up to the magistrate judge. But if you know, based on this package, I don't see what else he could offer. There's nothing more that could offer, or no circumstances that could probably change. So this last thing with Diddy is at the circuit court. If he doesn't get bail, then he's going to be in jail until the whole trial is done. And that's going to come down via a 3-panel written appeal decision, regardless. So yeah, I've been like fucking taking a fucking crash course on U.S. federal courts that I could understand like the process of what the fuck is going on. Anyway, there's a lot of legal shit that's kind of happening in hip hop because we're not getting much music. So like we're just talking about a bunch of legal shit. There's some gossip shit, but we're talking about so much legal shit, right? So like for example, what's happening now, and I'm hearing, you know, I have good authority to tell to say that Jay-Z and his attorneys, they're gonna start putting a full court press, and this shouldn't be taken as a sign of their guilt or even innocence. It just is what it is. That's what happens when you go at a huge brand. They're putting a full court press on people who are peddling rumors that Jay-Z is a pedophile, that Jay-Z have R-worded people, or that Jay-Z has conspired or done illegal things in the nature of sexuality to the point of making him seem similar to Diddy or anything of the sort. Obviously, we know what happened with Piers Morgan, but what's also come to light is that, you know, they're also utilizing their resources, and it's not always going to come through a lawsuit. I keep telling you, the thing with the lawsuit is that you're going to, like, for example, UMG has wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend themselves, hasn't even gotten to court yet, hasn't even got to the discovery process of any of these things yet, right? And with all due respect, does Lil Rod have hundreds of thousands of dollars? No. So they're spending out the ass. So like really, a lot of companies, when you have a lot of money and the other person don't got a lot of money, you kind of don't want to have to get to court, but you do have remedies to kind of either scare those people to fucking shut up, or if you can't scare them, you scare the platforms they're on, right? For example, you scare Piers Morgan. And from what I've heard now, pretty much the YouTube channel that is damn near her home right now, Real Life Street Stars, apparently they have been, suspended from YouTube, and not necessarily their channel, but they can't upload for a while. And why can't they upload? Because they got a strike for platform and Jaguar right. They don't really say what the strike is about, but I could imagine, hey, put it like this. You have Jay-Z, you got Lear Cohen, who runs YouTube. Bruv, you're platforming this chick. It's only a matter of time before she says Lear Cohen's name. Lear Cohen left 300 Entertainment. Remember, he was running around behind Diddy, he was running around behind Young Thug, almost like his daddy, like Lear Cohen, Young Thug, but he left 300 Entertainment and he went to YouTube. He runs YouTube Music. And, not to us make any assumptions here, but for all y'all YouTubers, be aware. And I'm not telling y'all, I'm not hating on Jaguar right, but if y'all are getting these people and paying them money just to say shit, and every time they go on camera, they say a new allegation and a new allegation, and especially if they're starting to build steam, you might look at it as views, but you have to realize you're playing with billionaires, and they're not going to take it too lightly, and you shouldn't be surprised if you start seeing things start crumbling around you. Real Life Street Stars came out and admitted that their channel recently got, struck. And this is what they said. By the way, they do have a video up, and I don't think it's all the Jaguar right content, but usually this is a warning, okay? This is a channel that does these interviews, okay? Anyway, here's where they speak on it. I guess this is a guy who's the owner, so shout out to him.
All right, what's good, y'all? All right, here we go. Just another quick conversation I want to have with you guys. As you can see the title, what I want y'all to do before we even talk about the situation that's going on, I want y'all to, of course, make sure you do the thing. Hit that like button as it drives up the numbers. Subscribe to the channel just to hear anything coming up or anything that's coming forward. And then, of course, hit that notification bell. So therefore, when I do go live, you know that it's me going live, and therefore you can hop in and we can do this thing together. But as you can see, yes, the Real Life channel, we are not posting any videos because we can't. We actually got a strike on our channel. First a warning, then a strike because of our Jaguar right content. So technically, and this kind of more so goes into, I don't want to go into the details of what the strike was about, but it definitely was because of the Jaguar right content. Maybe it's Jay-Z, maybe it's Beyonce, maybe it's the Beehive, maybe it's Diddy, maybe it's Diddy's people, maybe it's Lear Cohen, maybe it's Kamala Harris, maybe it's Obama, maybe it's Biden. Who knows? Maybe it's YouTube. But either way, we got a strike, so therefore we're not going to be posting nothing on that channel for at least a week.
Now, again, I like all these YouTube channels. I react to a lot of their content. I want to just give a warning to all of these guys. Y'all need to think about the timing we're in. Y'all got to treat Jaguar right, Orlando Brown, all of these people who just get on and they got all these stories, and especially when they're super salacious. I feel like Gene Deal is like middle of the road. Like, I don't think he comes out and just says, "Oh, everything is true." Like he's been saying the same thing consistently for a while, but a lot of this unsubstantiated shit, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I think something I should stay away from. Right? It does go for good clicks. Right now, it's hot. But like how I've learned, it's like when, like I had a couple of conversations with some of these platforms, I won't mention where. they basically, like, for platforms like mine, they basically say, stay your ass out of politics, right? When it comes to political season, which is usually 6 months from the date of especially a presidential election, they police extra when non-political pages or cultural pages like mine post about politics. What does that mean? Well, they'll strike your page, censor you, shadow. Like my Instagram page is shadow. I post hip hop 365. We got shadow banned again for politics. They're not playing about politics right now. It's political season. I'm using that as an example to say to these guys who probably are seeing a huge profit margin when it comes to a Jaguar, right? Who's just gonna, like, you know, she has a different. She's building on these, who knows, is conspiracy theories or facts, but she has something else to say every single time. You gonna get yourself fucked up. These platforms is gonna keep striking y'all. I think it's just started. I think the lawyers of, if this is my opinion, the lawyers of Jay-Z, they're not going to sue y'all. Y'all don't have money like that, with all due respect, right? They're, if they don't think that you're making millions, they're not gonna sue y'all, right? They're going to target the platforms which you work with. Piers Morgan might get a direct ultimatum. For y'all, they're not even going to hit y'all with a cease and desist because you're going to come back online and use it as content. Yo, I just got here with a cease and desist. Well, you know what the fans are going to say? Well, damn, that might be, it might be right. So you know what they do? They go through their back channels and they hit the YouTube system. Now you have a partner manager in YouTube watching your channel. You never want that because now you're not really knowing, so you keep producing that same content and they just keep striking you till they get you out of here. So, you know, shout out to real life street stars, I believe. I hope they realize, hey, you know, not telling y'all not to do content with Jaguar, right? But you're on the radar. All pun intended. You get what I'm saying? The people who are powerful in this country know how to shut you up without telling you to shut up, right? It's clear in the last month or so. I don't know if Jay-Z had a meeting with his people, but they came to a consensus. All of this conspiracy theory, did he fuck her when she was 15? Did he do that with her? Did he get a secret kid? They're sick of it. And, you know, again, not accusing Jay-Z of anything specifically, but I think we do know with a certain level of powerful and famous people, they start playing really unfair. They'll let you talk your shit, but they'll be like, how you feel about being demonetized, you bitch ass nigga? How you feel about you can't post on videos, nigga? That's how to get at you. So, I wish real life the best, but it's clear. Jaguar, like right now, I see why Vlad's like, I wouldn't interview Jaguar right now. Like it's not the, you know. Anyway, we'll see. Real quick. This was a lawyer I was talking about, the second lawyer. This was her. And she was the one going around essentially saying that she also has a sex tape of Diddy that's being allegedly shopped, which is kind of also a little crazy, right? It's like pretty crazy, right?
Contacted regarding the sale of one of the Diddy freak off tapes, and that it features a very high profile celebrity. What can you tell us about that?
So actually, I recently was contacted by one of my business partners who's also an attorney who said to me, well, why are we not writing the demand letter to try to do the catch and kill? And I said, well, if you want to do it, then I'll connect you and you can essentially do it.
Now, y'all tell me if this is scummy, chat. They're selling a sex tape, seemingly one that is unauthorized to already even be in their presence or be in their possession. It allegedly contains supposed Diddy and another male who was young at the time. You could put any name to that you think it could be. And what a catch and kill would be, because Diddy's incarcerated right now, right, would be them, I wouldn't even say necessarily going to Diddy, but probably going to the other person who could be now embarrassed and then be thrusted in a direct link in the first sexual potential, visual that includes Diddy, which would just be bad for any person's brand right now, right? And they would go to that person and say, yo, this video won't ever come out. And we could sign some agreements that it won't ever come out. But you got to pay this amount of money. Is that scummy or is that just business? I don't know. Now, I'm not saying it necessarily on her part, but it's just... Because I'm even thinking about the person who was young at the time. So you're telling me that y'all try to then almost extort the person? Like, yo, you got to pay up or this tape with you and Diddy might come out?
He was also concerned about wanting to protect the other person who was in the film, mainly because I've known about this for about 3.5 weeks to about a month. I've been communicating with these people who purport to have that videotape. And it wasn't until Thursday night that they outright said, can you write on your letterhead a letter to the individual who's also in the tape and see if they're interested in a catch and kill? And is that something we'll give you X amount of percentage of it? And at the time I was like, I don't think I want to be involved in this, but I hadn't had time to process. But the other attorney I'm speaking of, he's pretty much been in the know the entire time since I first got contacted by these individuals with the tape. And we're pursuing now a meeting with the three of us for us to broker, I guess, a situation where we'll have certain guarantees that once we make the representations to the person in the tape, that we have some level of assurances that this is a valid tape.
And just to be clear, two thoughts about this. One, is it a household name that we're talking about here? And secondly, are they engaged in any criminality from what you understand?
Household name, very much so. More of a household name than Mr. Combs.
Wow,
And
really?
Criminality, they are engaged in pornography. They're not doing anything illegal per se. I can't say that well, I'll say this. My concern was that I could not verify the age of the individual.
Okay, anyway. Last thing on this, and then we will not go back.
Essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I can't
tape.
explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
Oh, my. All right. So we know that he...
Okay. I feel like we're just covering lawsuits, y'all. The former assistant of Kanye actually came out. Remember we did the whole thing about her claims on Kanye? And I'm going to just do y'all a favor, chat. I'll make sure y'all can see the whole thing on this one. Kanye's former assistant, who, if you guys don't know, was getting paid $1 million a year, but got upset after she was terminated without her promised raise of $4 million a year. And I mean, I don't know. They say don't judge the book by its cover, but she looked like a hard worker. It's probably hard booking them flights. Probably hard doing a lot of things. She probably has a unique skill set. She probably does need $4 million for the skill sets and attributes she probably brought to Kanye. First of all, chat, do y'all think she deserves $1 million a year? Apparently she had gotten $1 million a year because Kanye wanted to stop her OnlyFans. You know, sometimes you might have to assist on the side and have OnlyFans on the other side. So that's when she got the $1 million a year. And then apparently she was, offered the position to be chief of staff of Yeezy LLC. And that was going to pay her $4 million a year before Kanye never came through with the promise. And there was a verbal agreement. So it's like a contract. So she wants to get paid. But after she put in the wrongful termination and unpaid wages lawsuit, she came back around a few months later and she said, well, not only did he do that, Kanye R-worded me. He forced himself onto me, which now ups the stakes. She's responding to fans reacting to her new amended complaint where she's alleging that all these things is happening. Listen to this.
Okay, so typically I ignore stuff like this. But the hate I've been receiving lately has been overwhelming. And I understand that not everyone believes me or, not everyone likes me, and that's okay. Like, everyone is entitled to their opinion. However, I can't. I want to know, what's going through some of your heads when you type things like go kill yourself, or I hope your car crashes and sets on fire and you can't get your seatbelt off and you die a slow, painful death. What's going through your mind when you're typing those things to me? I've never had a desire to write anything like that to anyone. Okay, so typically I ignore stuff like this.
Typically we don't do more more digging after we see some shit like this, but I feel like it was damn, she's private. Hold on. Oh shit, her OnlyFans busting. Okay, never mind. All right, I see her out here. Yo, she gets on, jiggles them joints. Yo, why y'all telling me to go kill myself? Yo. Nah, she burnt out for that one. Yeah, I think she capping too. I ain't even gonna hold you. I think she motherfucking capping as well. All right. All good. Let's see what else is going on in hip hop, brothers. Gucci dropped a bunch of people. Lil Papa was talking about some bullshit. Money Man says the Bible giving the most game about us. Speaks on the Bible. Yeah, that's true. Future supposedly retweeted this shit. So Future seems like he's on board, right? So Future has reposted the tweet from Young Thug saying, Drake, Future, and Metro, we're all brothers. Music ain't the same without us collabing. Well, music hasn't been the same since you've been behind bars. But I do think that some conversation happened. I told y'all, chat, some conversation clearly happened. So Drake, Future, Metro, and probably some liaison was somebody connected to Thug. I think they've had a conversation, which is good. Like, it's one thing we've realized about, Drake. He clearly didn't want to go with Future. Like, he even said, yo, Future, that shit made, like, me and you falling down made me sick to my stomach. Then he blamed it on Metro. He's like, yo, it's probably that nigga who set it up. Like, he clearly never wanted to go against Future, because I believe that if Drake ever went against Future, that's like going against Atlanta. And Future, he loves, yeah, this is, look at Grandma's right here. This shit's giving me like a, yeah, no, I think 100% Future is, you know, I think it's some petty shit. Like, you know what the rumors were? Future feel away about Drake doing a collab album with 21 Savage after they did a collab album, which I was confused by, because Future did mad collab albums with mad niggas. You get what I'm saying? They one with Metro just now. He did one with Young Thug. He did one with Juice. Did he do one with Juice WRLD? Yeah. Like, Future's done mad collab albums. So since What a Time to Be Alive, so why does he expect Drake should only work with him? Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, you and Drake got an open relationship, my guy. You feel me? You do collab albums with other niggas. Drake could do collab albums with other niggas. But it probably is a little deeper, right? Maybe Drake told him, yo, we're going to do it this year. And then Drake pops out with like the same type of formula, right? It's like street nigga and then the singing guy, right? So I don't know. But Future is down. So it's clear if we don't see no more, you know, and by the way, I do think Future wanted to humble Drake a little bit. And if you ask me, I would think that these guys have thought Drake has been humbled. You know what I mean? They've looked at it like, look how alone he looks. All that, I'm the best, I don't need nobody. Niggas need me. He finally realizes, like, nah, dog, that relationship ain't been like that for probably over 10 years now. Like, this is some mutual shit. You probably, and if we're looking at the weighted scale, I think they're probably thinking Drake need them more than they need Drake. These guys do stadium, or they do arenas without Drake. They're getting #1 albums without Drake. They're having hit songs without Drake. Like, again, some of these things mutually, it was used to be exclusively you needed Drake in the mix for that. They're doing it without him. And what I think that Drake always needs is that Drake always needs that bass that they have. Like, needs that Atlanta bass, but the street type of wave, right? I think that's why he works with 21 Savage a good amount. Like, him and Savage, it checks that box. So I think they've just realized that the power dynamic may have gotten a little bit different. Now, granted, Metro, I don't think, like, Metro's just a fucking producer. Nobody gives a fuck. You know what I mean? You told that nigga, shut the fuck up and make some drums. But, like, Future's like a different beast. And I think Future, you know, he obviously cares about Metro over Drake, right? Because he's down to stand on the issue with Metro. Because I do think that We Don't Trust You is a Metro thing. Like, in terms of these two projects and the direction. Which tells me that, yeah, there's some conversation that must have happened, because I don't think Future, without Metro being open to the idea of him crossing that picket line and even showing any love to Drake, I don't think that Future would do that without Metro already probably talking to Drake privately. So something must have happened. You know what I'm saying? All right, then. Hopefully that beef ends. And by the way, if that ends, that'll be a smart move for Drake. You know what I mean? It'd be a really smart move for Drake. You know, even though I heard Charlemagne say something very interesting, right?
So as everybody knows, Diddy, aka the Diddler, he has finally been locked up. And it's been crazy ever since. I'm not gonna lie. Now, you feel me, he's in prison, or let me rephrase, jail, on suicide watch. You feel me? That's kind of a crazy life. You go from being a billionaire, mansions all over the world, having freak offs, you feel me, with women and men, you feel me, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Man, even though I do think Diddy is very, 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 very guilty, I want to ask one thing. If what Diddy did is considered sex trafficking, isn't like what every like high profile entertainer who like fly women from Instagram like all over just for sex trafficking as well? Like, that's a question I just want to ask. You feel me? Because you gotta call a spade a spade. If Diddy's doing it, then you gotta look at almost every celebrity who does the same thing, or who throws big parties, and you feel me, women pull up and they do crazy freaky stuff at those parties, bro. Like, I don't know. So like, and I only asked that because I really sat there and thought to myself, like, man, I don't necessarily feel bad for Diddy, and I don't think Diddy is a good person. And I think he probably, when they really investigate deeper into Diddy, they're going to find way other stuff besides all this freak stuff that he probably did do. Man, this freaky stuff and all the allegations and stuff, like how you see all the executives and stuff stepping down, Diddy is coming, bro. I no Diddy, but Diddy is coming. No Diddy. I think he's gonna expose everyone, and like labels are scared and they're trying to get rid of everyone and everything. If Diddy ends up like the dude, who's that one dude with the island who killed himself? If Diddy ends up like that, we should not sit there and act surprised. You feel me? But it's your boy Big X News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'd say pray for Diddy. Honestly, pray for Diddy, man. He probably needs it right now. He's probably fiending. Probably Meek Mill's on the phone with him, trying to keep him calm. Feel me? He's probably telling Meek Mill, send me some pics over. You feel me? I miss you. I like when you do it like that. But you feel me? It's your boy Big X News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I am out.